Chetty Bobby. Welcome to Wrasslin with Big E and the POT. Podcast tag champs of the whole world, slamming like a DDT. Got it like just like a figure four. Hulk Hogan, all they do is flex. Talking wrestling while they get the dough. Off the top like a superplex. Think they letting up? Hell no. Dusty Rose with the elbow. From the corner like a stinging splash. Straight to the face, I know you felt those. Hey, y'all crying out for help though. Rising up like the dead man. About to go upside your head like Stone Cold with the bedpan. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrasslin where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrasslin where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Wrasslin with them Wrasslin boys. I'm the POT alongside my tag team partner Big E, and we're here to bring you another episode of premium wrestling content. Going on, brother?
What do you say, brother? Hey man, it's welcome to Wrasslin. Welcome to Wrasslin, brought to you by the Talking Shop Network. And you can now find us at all podcast platforms under the Talking Shop umbrella. That's TLAKNSHOP. Talking Shop under all platforms, baby. We still got our YouTube channel. We're still going to be uploading on the YouTube channel. But check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Hey man, all platforms. Check us out. Talking Shop. Check out the whole Talking Shop network, and we'll get into shooting them out in a minute. Shooting them out. Hey man, it's episode 89, but before we jump into it, we got to do our due diligence, keep the tradition going while we can. But I was corrected over the week by two guys from the Nest. Marshall and Darren had to bring up that we forgot a 88, and that was Greg Olson, tight end, Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints. So shout out Greg Olson, and from the U,
Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
We forgot a bigger 88, Bonafide Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison.
Wow. Yeah. Hey man, that 88 is a strong number. That's a strong.
Yeah. Those are two big misses. But hey, man, you know, that's what it is, man. But we got them this week late. But hey, so shout out to the guys who corrected us on that. That's what we want. We like that interaction.
Yeah. So shout out to Marshall and Darren. Hey man, it's episode 89. Welcome to Wrasslin, brought to you by the Talking Shop Network. 89. Give me one. I know you got something.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was brainstorming, man, and I came up with one that wasn't that high on the radar, but Anthony Pisano, a journeyman tight end, played with the Dolphins and quite a few other teams, man. The only reason I remember him because he's on my fantasy team a few years back. So Anthony Pisano.
And strictly, and welcome to Wrasslin fashion, I got one for the same reason. I do got four. Got Mercedes Lewis from Jacksonville Jaguars because I had him on fantasy years ago. Mike Dicker sported the 89.
Hey, great tight end. Great coach as well. Shout out Mike Dicker.
Great coach, hell yeah. Hey, 85 Bears, man, say no more. So, Brock Bowers over there.
Hey, that's
Las Vegas, Oakland, LA, whatever they are this year. But
right.
I tell you one thing, as an Alabama fan, one of my most proudest days is when Brock Bowers graduated and entered the draft. That dude was dangerous, and I mean, when they needed a play made, he was there.
He knew how to get open, man. He was a problem.
I did not like that dude at all. You know, I'm glad they got him the hell up out of there. I'm glad he went to the league. He's one of them players you wish they could do a one and done.
Right. Straight out of high school. Shit.
Right, yeah. Unless he came to Bama, then that's a different story. But
Right.
you know, then he need to stay all 4 years. You know, get his degree. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you got that backup plan. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a very proud day when he graduated. I mean, when he entered the draft. Thank God.
That will try to get him all the NIL money.
Hey, hey, he would have been one of them showing up in the Lambo. You know, for camp. Well, hold on now. Dude, you know, what are you really getting?
Be like Buddy from Blue Chip.
Yeah.
Happy, you know.
Yeah.
Blue Chip.
I must say that I really like it here. These girls are amazing. He's like, all I'm looking for is about $30,000 in cash. You can throw it in one of them duffel.
So what them gym bags?
Oh man, hey, that was a hell of a movie. Though the ending was crazy. Ending was crazy. Like, you know, and of course you would never see that for real. You'll never see a coach out himself in front of the whole media and the whole world. You know,
Right.
Even, you know, Bear Bryant was a saint, and he wouldn't have did that.
Yeah.
That
was. Yeah, definitely a fiction movie.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it is episode 89. I got one more for you, and it was later on in his career. One of Alabama's greatest receivers to come out of there, Amari Cooper.
Hey.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so, yeah, man, episode 89, bro. Feeling good. We're going to get into a topic. First, we're going to get into some wrestling news. We're going to get into some Talking Shop Network news. And as of right now, we'll do that. And the boys, Gallows and Anderson, the world famous Good Brothers, are yet another grabbing more gold and are the AMW Tag Team Champions. Went over on FTR this weekend. I know they've been talking about this match for a while, and they really showed each other some respect on social media and in the ring. Good Brothers were able to go over and just, again, killing the business, killing the indies. And yeah, man. So I know Gallows will be in Savannah this weekend, and I think Carl will be taking the weekend off. I know they'll be going to Australia soon.
Damn.
There's a big, huge show in Dublin, Georgia. Lariato. They're already saying they got some big names that they really can't say right now and trying to lock some stuff down. But Lariato Pro Wrestling, man, is a independent promotion out there in Jackson, Georgia, and they do a lot of stuff in Dublin, Georgia. The venue is cool, and it's going to be a huge show. They're going to do a live talking shop afterwards. And speaking of live talking shop, there's going to be a live talking shop the day before MLW show in South Carolina and Charleston, and it'll be on September the 11th. It's going to be exciting. The network is taking off, man. We got a show coming out every day of the week besides Saturday, Sunday. Monday, you got the Bump and Feed podcast with their host Emerson. You got Cabana Boy, and you got the Young Guns, CJ Gallows. Tuesdays, yours truly, Welcome to Wrasslin. Wednesday, that's the big day. That's when the talking shop hits, from the boys, Gallows and Anderson. Thursday, you got In the Front Row. Big Mel is producing one of the best sports podcasts, and the guest list is crazy. So check them out. And then on Fridays, with Miss Rand and DJ Dominguez, we got the Talking Shop recap, and they go over what happened on Talking Shop and add a little flavor to it. So, and I know they're looking for more, but right now we're the core, and we got a slick lineup. If you ask me, if you don't like one, guaranteed you're gonna like another. You understand what I'm saying? So check us out, man. Talking Shop Network. Excuse me. And you can also go to the website, talkingshoppod.com. Shout out to DeWisco, but TLAKN. Wait a minute, what did I say? TALKNSHOPPOD.com, man. That's all the updates, all our episodes, all the links to everything you need. Check us out. Bro, let's talk about the Bloodline, man. Let's jump into some wrestling news and talk about the Bloodline. The Bloodline are officially heels, are they not?
That's what it's looking like, man. They've been straddling the fence for so long, and it's almost like, you have a few of, half of them act like heels, and the other half act like they faces, but it's definitely look like it's I don't want to say old school Bloodline, but it's looking like old school Bloodline with how they handling their business right now.
Right. So the big thing was Jey Uso went over on Solo. Solo's supposed to turn himself into the tribal chief and join the Bloodline and be back together again. Blase this, blase that. They made a fool of him, chumped him off. Jacob super kicked him, gave the Usos, followers, calling the captains. Boy, Jacob got in his feelings. LA Knight gets involved. Next thing you know, tables are turned, and Solo and LA Knight walk off and leave the Usos and Roman Reigns on the ground.
Right.
Jacob in the corner, just watching. So I'm assuming Jacob gonna be part of the MFTs in a little while, because he rolling with everybody.
Yeah, well, I know, right?
Yeah.
But with the whole thing though, it's like Jacob was following orders.
Mm-hmm.
Roman let it be known that he didn't want him to do anything to LA Knight, and it kind of backfired with that particular situation, because of course, LA Knight was the sacrifice. Solo was about to spike him, and of course, we, like you mentioned, he spiked Roman Reigns instead, and the Usos looked shocked, like, I can't believe he just did that. And then of course they got the best of him, and then Jacob stood in the corner, but it was like he was literally following orders, and you could tell he was pissed about the whole Uber thing, but then he was also like, well, this man told me not to do nothing. So it was almost like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because I guess he was looking at it like, if I was to do something, then he gonna be mad at me because he told me don't put a hand on him. But if I don't do nothing, which he did it, then of course that's gonna probably be some blowback from that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens when the tribal chief comes back on Raw.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, it's definitely gonna be interesting. You got LA Knight trying to chase after the title, but now you're doing them as a team. You don't know what side Jacob's going to be on. Then do we get a 6-man at some point? And are we doing the War Games again with the Bloodline? Is that what it turns into? Have to sit around and see, man. One thing I wanted to say about Raw, and this is last week's Raw. By the time we come out on Tuesday, the Raw had already passed, but and we'll talk about that next week or whatever. But I'm looking forward to that Braun Breaker over Femi. I'm liking this feud. I'm liking it.
Absolutely.
What you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like two big bulls colliding,
Right.
And it's funny. It's funny though. It's like they, like the whole narrative is who's the future of the company. When in actuality, let's be real, there's not one future of the company.
Right.
They both are the future of the company, along with others. But but they had this narrative like who's the future of the company. But I want to tell you something. Like, keep this in mind. I don't think this feud. I think this feud is gonna be long term, and I don't think that the Sunday night's main event match is going to be the only match they will have. I think that Bronson Reed is gonna make an appearance.
Really? Hey man, it could be. We sure gonna see. You know, that's a good call. I like it. We'll keep that in mind. And you can boast and brag if it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like we do on here on Welcome to Wrasslin. We do a little
Hey,
boasting and bragging when we're right.
that's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
That's a spoiler. Speaking of spoilers, I'm gonna Barry Horowitz myself. I'm gonna get myself a Barry Horowitz and go ahead and say I told you what MFT stands for last week.
My favorite Tongans.
No sir. Haku corrected everybody and let them know Big E was right. Hey man, I don't care how old that dude is. I don't care how slow he walks. He still looks dangerous. Haku still looks dangerous.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that dude.
Despite the fact that they are the motherfucking Tongans.
Hey, you see him at catering, you won't the other way. You
Right.
know what I mean?
You're gonna ask him what he wants. Can I get your plate for you, sir?
Right.
I saw a clip with I saw 2 clips about Haku because his name's starting to ring again because he's on TV.
Right.
So one of them with Paul White, you know, formerly known as the Big Show. And so they were doing something. It was Battle Bowl or something they were doing, and this is when Giant still knew.
Yeah.
And he's out there. He said Haku was just all over. He was Ming at the time. Ming all over him. He said the Giant said he was switching rings to get away from him because he kept chopping him and going after him. and he said he was green, and he was wondering like he's sitting there thinking like, did I do something? And you know, said do I got heat with him? What happened? And he said the whole match he was in there, he was just going right after the Giant, and or Big Show, Paul White, whatever your name is, if that's your real name. But he said he went backstage and was like, man, he was like, Mr. He was like, sir, are we okay? He was like, oh no, brother. He said, I just knew the camera was on you. And boy, Big Show thought they had heat. Boy, he was scared.
I don't blame him.
The other clip, and we'll move on. Jacob Fatu sitting there talking about his dad, the Tongan kid.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Nah.
Say his dad wasn't scared of nobody. A Haku tell Tongan kid to get up. Tongan kid gonna get up. But he wasn't scared of nobody else. But he said he didn't play when it called. Haku said something, you did it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we all heard the Haku story.
Heard the story.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but everybody was like, you know, we all heard the stories. So,
right.
So, and if somebody like the Tonga kid would get, because they all Samoans and stuff, you know. So if he was to get up and respect that man, then he knows something that everybody else, you know, didn't know or knew as well. You know, like he was nobody to be fucked with. You know what I mean? Straight up. So absolutely. Hey man, let's move on. Let's talk a little AEW, man. You got All In is right around the corner in Wembley. First and foremost, man, we're getting Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. Yeah.
And that's going to be a banger. You understand? A banger. And I can't wait to see that. Also, it's looking like we're going to get to see Adam Copeland and Christian and the Young Bucks.
Dream match.
Yeah. I can dig that. Let me ask you something while we're talking about Edge / Adam Copeland.
Okay.
And, of course, we don't know, but I'm just asking what you think. You think they're in his mind or in their mind or in the booking committee or Tony Khan, does he get the title one time there before it's all said and done?
For selfish reasons, I really hope that Adam Copeland would get at least one AEW World Title reign. I would
Mhm.
love to see that. I would love to see that. Now, the question though is that does Adam Copeland want that? Does that matter to him? Because we know that he don't have much time left,
Right.
and that might not be nothing he something he may not even desire. 'Cause I think he looking at his work right now, AEW, like this just icing on the cake.
Well, it's got to be a bonus because you thought you were through. I mean, how many years
Right.
was it when he came back to the Royal Rumble? How many years was that?
About nine, close to nine, because he retired after WrestleMania 27, and he
Right,
came back in the Royal Rumble the COVID year, right
right.
before COVID, which was WrestleMania 36 year. So that was 9 years that he was
Yeah, yeah, long time. But
long time.
right. But to come back full time, and then come back and then join another company where you're with your best friend,
Right,
childhood friend. You know what I'm saying,
right,
bro? You know
right.
they got to be having a ball.
Absolutely,
You know they got to be having a ball. And
absolutely.
Christian, dog, Christian is doing his some of his best work right now, especially on the mic, because he's
He's
ignorant
savage,
with it.
bro. He is savage on that mic, bro.
And it's
Savage.
yeah, I'm loving it, man. Dude, he's already in the Hall of Fame, so there's no need to come back to WWE and finish it off. You think he's
Right.
cool with finishing off there at AEW? Maybe he does some
Absolutely.
small stuff afterwards, but as far as the big time, you think he's cool with AEW being it?
Absolutely. I mean, again, I know we don't know these people personally, but I mean, you got to think. Even when he had that last run with WWE,
Hmm.
that first year he came back, he did a feud with Randy Orton. Which was they had the Rated RKO thing back in the day.
Yeah,
He had a WrestleMania main event, WrestleMania 37, when he had a triple threat with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan.
right.
For the title. Of course, he didn't win the title, but then of course, he started the Judgment Day, had a WrestleMania match with AJ and all of that, and
Yeah.
then he had a Hell in a Cell match with Finn Balor, when he was the Demon at WrestleMania 39.
Jesus
You
Christ,
know,
man.
yeah. Well, I know my stuff. You know,
Right.
and and then he had his last, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken,
shit.
his last WWE match was with Sheamus.
Mm,
And then of course he's at AEW now, and feuded with Christian.
right. Now they together.
So they check.
Tag team
Yeah,
champ.
now they back together, tag team champs. So it would be nice for selfish reasons that he get a title run.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but
And
he just, to me, he don't seem like he would really care at this point. I think he just happy that he's still able to work, and it's just
you gotta think that all the boxes are checked.
right, right,
You know what I'm saying? There can't be too much more like to do besides AEW heavyweight champion. You know what I mean? So, but you got to think about it this way too. He's right back. It's right back where he started. Started as a tag team. That's where they
right.
got their fame from. That's where they tag team champions, and now they're at the end of their career doing the same thing. And
I mean,
them tag matches way easier on the body too.
he even had a mixed tag match with his wife in WWE.
Yeah,
Which I'm sure that was a dream come true.
right, right.
Beth Phoenix. So
Yeah,
I mean, like you said, he checked a lot of boxes.
yeah,
So we'll see what happens though, and how much longer he's willing to go out there and do it.
yeah.
But he it's that era where we've seen a lot of people retire lately. Seen AJ,
Brock
now
Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar,
Yeah,
and you got to think those guys like a Edge, Randy Orton, uh, you know, few others. I mean, it's like, how much longer are we gonna have these people?
4 or 5 years, we're gonna be saying the same thing about Roman Reigns, the Usos.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, the the show keeps going whether they there or not. That's for sure. You
right,
know, and you
right,
can't do it forever. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Especially at a high level.
right.
And you know, so one last thing about All In, and just a quick little a question. Trios Championship. Are we gonna see the New Day make their debut at All In and join, be with Swerve and take on Hangman and the Trios champs?
I don't want to say I guarantee it, but I'm gonna say I guarantee it.
Hmm.
Tony Khan like to have a big splash, and why not do it in All In?
Right.
And it's gonna be great to see them. I'm just curious to see what their gimmick is gonna be. Like, because of course they're not gonna be the New Day. I mean, I'm sure
Right.
they still gonna have similar characteristics, but my understanding is Kofi Kingston is gonna be just simply Kofi,
Kofi. Yeah.
and then of course Xavier Woods going back to Creed,
Yeah.
Austin Creed.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how, like, what are they gonna wear, or like, are they gonna, they probably gonna be faces since they started with the new company. It's gonna be
Yeah,
interesting to
that's how you
see.
got to start it off. It'd be, of course, unless they come out there and then turn on Swerve, do something crazy, but the place is gonna go crazy. You're gonna get a pop if you're a known talent at another company. That's just gonna happen. You're
Yeah,
gonna get that pop when you get there, and then you see where it goes from there.
right,
You know, but Kofi, that's a different story, man. He's supposed to be a WWE lifer, and that's what everybody
right,
expected to happen. And
right,
you talk about their gimmick. I can't wait to see what it is. I can't wait to see what kind of personality they bring out when you don't have as many strings attached.
right, right,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know WWE is getting edgier and edgier, but it's still a puppet master. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely,
And then you got
absolutely,
TK, and then you got TKO putting their spin on it. Like, it's when you know who your boss is, but your bosses have bosses have bosses have bosses, and so it's
right,
sometimes you don't know where the orders are coming from.
right,
I ain't gonna say it
right,
was like WCW or TNA when you didn't know who really was the boss. You know who's in charge, but you also know who's in charge of them. You know
right.
what I'm saying? So it's like you got way more to answer to, and way more stuff going on that you don't even know about. So what I'm saying is, it's still a puppet master AEW, but it's not as many strings.
Right,
You see what I'm saying? Does that make
right.
sense?
Yes,
So I'm
yes.
excited to see what they can do being cut loose like that. So
Well, I tell you another debut that we may see at All In
ooh,
besides the New Day is Ilya Dragunov,
yeah,
because with his situation, he don't have the whole 90-day compete clause.
yeah, he can wrestle today.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
and,
he
and
can go anywhere.
we don't know if they'll do that immediately. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if he show up in some capacity at All In as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a good fit for him. But that's a good talent that once again you think about dropping the ball.
Man,
That's definitely one to speak of. And man,
I don't care.
NXT, right? NXT, Zilla Fatu cut his first promo. Um, it was. I'm a Zilla fan, dog. I'm a Zilla fan. I think he's gonna be a star. I'm glad he's in NXT.
Right.
He definitely got some work to do. He's still young in the game, man. He was just the hottest in the indies, and it doesn't make no sense. And like we predicted and knew, they were just waiting on him to get off parole. You know, but shout out to him for being able to get off parole and being able to find something to do when he got out, go full throttle, stay out of trouble, because it ain't easy. The justice system is not made for you to prevail. It's made for you to fail, because there's so many things that they know you're not going to do, and you end up coming right back. A lot of people go that route, and they do not make it easy on you to stay up out of there once you're in there. So shout out to him for taking advantage of every opportunity. You know, I mean, shout out to him, man. So I hope he kills it and gets everything he's ever wanted or dreamed of. But I thought he came out there pretty clean. He had the Umaga chain on, had the chain with the Umaga medallion. I thought that was cool. I saw the clips about him getting it and all that stuff, and it was actually gifted to him by a jeweler. But yeah, man, first match is going to be at Heatwave, a fatal 4-way. Tony D'Angelo, the champ, versus Cruz Montana, my bad. Cruz Montana, Grayson Waller, and Zilla Fatu, man. First match is going to be a 4-way for the title. So I'm excited. I'm sure, you know, I've heard he's really a fan favorite, because I've only heard a few things about why are they putting him in the title picture immediately. Well, why not?
Well, you know what I say about that. You know, I mean, one, NXT does that a lot. Hell, Cruz Montana, even though now he was a part of TNA, he's former TNA world champion.
Right.
But TNA had a working relationship with NXT last year, so he was in the title picture and fought in NXT a lot last year. But you got to think of even Evil, or AKA Nuraku, however you say his name. He came to NXT and got in the title picture immediately. Now I understand that they probably more experienced than Zilla, as far as longevity in the ring. But you know, when you talk about star power, though, I'm sure more people in this country
know who Zilla is. Yeah.
Right, than Evil, Nuraku. Everybody didn't watch IWGP. I mean, we know who he is. And I'm sure a lot of people, I'm not saying a lot of people don't know. I mean, you know, the internet is, you know, you can find anything. But still, I think Zilla Fatu probably had more of a bigger fan base in the United States than Nuraku, or you know, or Takahashi, who actually skipped NXT and is going to, I forgot what his WWE name's going to be, but you know, he skipped NXT. You know, and that's a great topic as well, because it's like, you know, how did they decide who goes to NXT or who goes to the main roster? But it's just like, it's almost like, okay, you work a job, and let's just say pest control. You can work for Terminex or you can work for Orkin, right? But if you get hired, if you work for Terminex and you leave Terminex and you get hired by Orkin, they still got to train you to do it their way.
Yeah.
You know, so
we didn't do it over. We didn't kill the rats this way. We killed them that way. Well, no, this is the proper way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. It's like having a wife. You know, it's my way or the highway.
That's a whole nother story, right? Yeah.
But I thought the promo was good, man. It was all right, a little different, and he's got a ways to go, man. Look.
Yeah, he could be all right.
But it's just a pit stop till he gets to that main roster. You know, it's just a pit stop, and that's where NXT is. You know, cup of coffee in the big time, yeah. But but yeah, man, Zilla, I can't wait to see Heat Wave. I'm really getting excited with NXT. I've been watching it more here lately. So, but I'm dialed in. You know what I mean?
I watch NXT every week. I didn't used to, but I watch it every week. But for one reason,
Well, we know what that reason is.
my girl, Miss Parker.
Yeah. Miss Parker's an honorary oos.
Hey man, stop saying that, man. Stop saying that. Please stop saying that. No yeet. No yeet.
She's the honorary oos.
Stop saying that.
Hey, we got a few more things to chat it up, man, before we get in our topic and have some fun. Randy Orton and Cody in Atlanta, September the 6th, Sunday night's main event. What a weekend that's going to be. It's going to be the official. They're going to have a few, like 2 games during the week, so it's not going to be the college football kickoff. You know what I'm saying? But college football is that weekend. Alabama plays. Then you got Sunday night's main event. Bro, that's a hell of a weekend, dog. In Atlanta. Cody and Randy, you already know it's getting personal. Cody's trying to come off the hinges a little bit. Do we get a Cody heel turn in Atlanta? Cause let's set the scene. I hear a voice, they're gonna go crazy.
Right.
Okay. Then they're gonna go crazy for Cody when he get out there. Cause of the entrance. When that bell rings, or during the introductions, you're gonna start hearing more boos for one of these superstars. They turned on Cody in WWE. They turned on him in AEW. And you've been hearing more and more lately. Do we get a heel Cody? Because with this feud, it's taking him out of the title picture, so it's not as much media and things that he's doing. Okay? He's still the head honcho as far as doing all that stuff, along with Roman Reigns, but not a little bit's been taken off the plate. So, and this feud's gonna keep him out of the title picture for a little while. Do we get
Which I think is needed
in Atlanta?
I think it's needed.
I didn't hear what you said.
I think it's needed for him to be out of the picture for a while, the title picture. Yeah. Now, one thing you can't forget though, you're absolutely right about whatever Randy a heel or a face, people gonna cheer for him anyway.
Right.
But the fact there, Cody he's a hometown boy though in Atlanta. You know, so I don't know if he gonna necessarily get those boos like that in Atlanta. Like other cities.
I ain't saying Atlanta's Philly or nothing like that, or Chicago, but dude, I just think that would be awesome if they did it there. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, but even with the promo on SmackDown, I mean, you've been listening to his promos lately. Like he definitely on edge with Randy, just like how he was calling, Randy the Legend Killer, but he was like he's gonna kill the Legend Killer,
Right.
But then his last promo, he said that he did a Heyman line. He did this is not a prediction, it's a spoiler. So of course they got people talking, like, is he gonna become a Heyman guy or what? And they may not even be trying to do that, like as far as going that direction. But I'm sure they had to say that line on purpose because they knew people was gonna be talking about it.
Right. And that's your job, to get the internet going and all that stuff. All that stuff. Yeah. So
I would love to see a heel Cody.
Yeah. You're not gonna get being the elite Ring of Honor, New Japan heel Cody, but you can get something close, and he can pull it off. You know, that after revival stuff, man, was hilarious, bro. You know, they man, being the elite, that's the bro, yeah. Shout out to the Young Bucks, man, being the elite. That stuff used to be so funny, man. When he thought he was seeing Triple H, you know what I'm saying, in his dreams and stuff, and they were just doing some crazy stuff. But anyway, Friday night we had CM Punk and Kevin Owens for the title. You already knew it was gonna be shenanigans. Justice for Sammy. So Sammy basically he tried to cost Punk the title. Kevin Owens, and we've seen this storyline before.
Right.
I wanted to win it the right way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but you know, Sammy got pissed that he didn't take advantage. Then he hit him with knocked him out. GTS, go to sleep. 1, 2, 3. So definitely gonna be getting a triple threat match soon. Gotta be.
Right.
Gotta be. Maybe at Money in the Bank.
Right.
So we'll see where all that goes. How many times?
You know.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, one thing that we need to keep in mind, because one of the main things with Punk, the narrative is he's a big hypocrite, right?
Right.
And even like with his thing with Roman Reigns, how he, you know, when he was talking about how you always need your family to help you win, even though Roman Reigns been winning matches since WrestleMania without his family, right?
Right.
He been winning on his own. But for Punk, the last few matches he won defending the title has been because of shenanigans. Even though they played it where he didn't know what happened, boom, he just gets up and it's like, oh, ooh, what happened? Oh, GTS, I win. But that's the thing. Now it's like, well, did you know that so and so attacked me? And you know, because that was the thing with Cody. You know, but that's why he told him just say win again. We had a rematch. You know,
right.
But just IBKO this last time. Apparently, he didn't see what Sammy did. Now, of course, Sammy attacked both of them. Well, first he attacked Punk first, you know, and then of course, when KO wouldn't take advantage, he KO, but then Punk got up and then hit him with a GTS. But it was like he didn't know what happened, but he capitalized off that. So he's this big hypocrite right now. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens the next few weeks with that storyline, that angle, you know.
Right. And we'll be on the move and ready to be watching. One more thing, man, before we get started. Avery Styles, man, is signed with TNA. Made his debut with Lockdown and has officially signed with TNA. Bro, how crazy is that? Just think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, okay, that's cool. But what I'm thinking is like, and I know it's not the same people, it's not the same company, okay?
Right.
But that man, AJ, fought tooth and nail to get out of there. And now his son's there. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
it's also where AJ made his name.
Right.
So now Avery might make his name there before he takes. I don't know, man. Dude's gonna have it tough anyway, because it's always gonna be, you're only getting this because you're AJ Styles' son. He's always gonna have to work twice as hard. And
The gift and the curse.
Right. And we've met him. He's a good kid, man. I don't see him not prevailing. I don't see him not being able to pull it off. Very talented. You know, future looks bright for him, if you ask me. So, and that's with or without setting up chairs. You know what I'm saying?
He ain't pay his dues.
Right. Bro, did you hear what the Big Show said about that?
No.
Oh, bro, he shut it down. Should nobody else say a word. It should be over and done with. He called it a bunch of shit and everything, and said basically it's just one of these old bitter promoters trying to make a name for themselves off a young kid and this and this and trying to be seen and all that stuff. He was just like, it's just bullshit. He said, man, that stuff. He said that's old school, long time ago. He said I used to hear old timers say it. He was like, and he was talking about him. He was like, his first match was with Hogan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. And I don't see nobody. You don't question the Big Show anyway. I know I'm not. Not if I run into him. Even though he'll
right.
He go cry he like Flair. He go cry at the drop of a hat.
Hey, he like Friday, you know.
Friday will cry at practice on Tuesday at 4:30. Individuals.
Hey, have a ready to run through a brick wall.
Right. In Indies.
Who did it, coach? You know.
Oh man.
Back to the Avery thing though, man. It's kind of funny, like you said. It's almost like the AJ thing kind of came full circle because, like you said, TNA is where he made his name and became the phenomenal one and all of that.
And now they have the phenomenal son.
Right, but you got to also think though. TNA, I know they had this working relationship with NXT, and I don't know where they at with that now. But my understanding is they're not on bad terms or anything. It's just maybe that deal they had ran out or whatever. But I think this is like a good thing for him because maybe once he hone in his skills a little more in TNA and get some seasoning, then maybe it'd be easier transition for him to move over to NXT.
Right.
So definitely keep an eye on that. But congrats, Avery. Keep doing your thing, young fella. We all pulling for you. We know it's going to be a tough road, and it's a gift and a curse. Yeah, things happen because you're Avery Styles, but at the same time, you're going to get some shit because you're Avery Styles.
Yeah.
Just keep your head down, man. Keep grinding, young fella, and you'll get there soon enough, man. Just keep grinding.
Yeah. And just listen to the guys around you. Listen to your family.
Right.
Pay attention to what's going on, man. I think, a lot of times we don't want to hear what people have to say because we don't want to look like we don't know what we're doing or nothing. It ain't nothing wrong with taking advice because there's always somebody that know more than you.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you gotta let that pride go, that male pride, and be able to learn from somebody.
You know what?
About somebody thinking you don't know something. You know what I'm saying?
Say that one more time. That pride. Say that one more time for the people in the back. For the people in the back.
Right. You got to lose that male pride sometimes, man, and learn that it's okay to learn something from somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're never going to be the smartest. Bro, you surround yourself by good people. You're never the smartest in the room. Learn from the smartest in the room. Learn from people.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's enough game for one day. Hey, but before we get into our topic, need electrical work done right? Call Wiley Electrical Services. They handle residential, commercial, and industrial electrical needs all across the metro Atlanta area. For dependable service, call 678-925-7893 or email at wileyelectric2025@gmail.com. That's Wiley Electrical Service, keeping Atlanta all the way powered up. Damn, that's a good commercial.
You might as well go ahead and do the Barry Horowitz again.
Hey, if you're listening to the Talking Shop Network, you can't see me, but if you're watching this on YouTube, you can. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's get into our topic, man. Today's topic today is jumping ship. And we're going to
Yes,
talk
sir.
guys that jump ship from one promotion to the other. We're going to talk successful and non-successful. Guys that were bigger one place and not so big the next stop, and vice versa. And I'm going to let you run with it, put you on the spot. Let's see what you got for your number one draft pick there, sir.
You know, I guess how you put it, how jumping ship. This person, I won't necessarily say jump ship because he didn't work for WWE until after WCW closed. But
Uh,
I'm gonna start out with DDP, and the reason why I'm starting out with DDP because this is someone who it's a lot of layers of DDP, right? You know, of course, we know about the AWA, and he was a
AWA,
manager with Bad
yeah.
Company, and then he was a manager at
Dog.
WCW, with the Freebirds and Diamond Stud and all this other stuff, and he didn't
They had
start
the
wrestling till
diamond
like that,
gap, the diamond dolls.
right? But he didn't
Yeah,
start wrestling till like the age of 35.
right.
First of all,
Late
late
bloomer.
late bloomer. But end up being a world champion. Uh, 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. Credited a lot of his rise to the NWO. Scott Hall was his buddy. But Macho Man wanted to work with them, so they did a feud with the NWO, and that helped really get him over big time. Ended up being a world champion. Of course, we all know that WCW ended up closing in what was it, '01, early in '01,
Yeah.
and he did make that transition. He was one of the few that actually made the transition. But he got caught up with a bad gimmick, my man, and he was a stalker. Stalking Undertaker's then wife Sarah. It was just a bad gimmick, man, and it just didn't work, and
Right.
it made him look pedestrian,
Right.
and it just was just a bad look, and I don't know, man. It just didn't work out, man. It just didn't work out. And we talk about somebody who was a world champion for one company,
3 times.
and yeah, and it just and then after that gimmick with the Undertaker, he didn't last too much longer.
Nah. It was.
Yeah,
We joked earlier about the Macho Man and the cup of coffee. You know what I'm saying? But that's all it was.
yeah,
For him. Let me. Now we all know DDP is a great guy. Okay.
right,
For
right,
all the stuff that he's done. Yeah,
right,
the WWE did not work out. Um, he would have been better off coming in the invasion and all that stuff.
right,
You know.
right.
But yeah, it was stupid the way they did it. The debut was dumb because when he revealed himself as a kidnapper, heel stalker, but as soon as he took his hood off, he went crazy to try to hype the crowd up.
Right.
I'm DDP and I'm back. Well, wait a minute. You are DDP, but you're also a kidnapper and a stalker and this evil person. You know what
Right,
I'm saying? That was dumb. You know what I mean?
right, right,
But, I get it. First time being in a live crowd in a long time. Whatever. It was all a mistake. I believe we can say that. I want to ask you this, though. Like I said, we all know he was a good person, great guy, helped numerous people in the business straighten their lives out, and people that nobody even knows straighten their life out. You know what I mean?
right, right.
Take yourself back to 90, 94, 95. He won the Battle Bowl. Then the NWO comes around, and this is at the point in time where he's wearing the fake blue jeans, with the boots, and the jeans are like tight around the, it's all skin tight. You know what I'm saying? Ace bandage around the ribs for like 3 years.
He was like Ace Bob Orton with that cash, you know.
So he takes the ace bandages, the autograph signings, the WrestleCon and shit like that.
But real probably still broke to this day, you know.
You know, it's hard for me to get up in the morning. You know?
Right.
Were you a fan of DDP in his heyday? Were you a
Absolutely
real fan?
not.
Okay.
No. I hate to say that because we talked about how he's such a great guy, the DDP yoga and turning people, Jake, just the resurrection, Jake the Snake, Scott Hall, Buff Bagwell, countless of others. You have a lot of people out with their physical issues like back issues and all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Help
yeah.
people lose weight, but
Yeah. Hell of a guy.
but
Yeah.
to answer your question though, no, I was not. I never got into DDP. Never got into his gimmick. I wasn't really a fan of his work, to be honest with you. Diamond Cutter was cool, but
That's
like
the only thing that I liked about him. It was the way he would do the diamond cutter different ways. You know,
right,
he was, do it, out of a body slam, out of a power bomb or something crazy. You know what I'm saying? That was
right,
cool. But when he did that stuff, and we're sitting there watching wrestling back in the day at the crib, you look over and once he did that, boom, 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 diamond cutter, right? Yeah, that was cool. But that was the only reaction. I never got the fact that the crowd went crazy when DDP came out and, you know, did the thing where he pointed at everybody. I never got it. I never figured it out. It just wasn't me. You know what I mean?
you know, especially thinking about it. You know what I think a lot of that was thinking about it. It had to been his theme song because it was the Kurt
Smells like Teen
Cobain,
Spirit. Yeah.
the Nirvana stuff, or some version of it,
Right.
maybe that's part of the reason why when the crowd hear that music,
Yeah.
because music does a lot, and he do the diamond and it's still the bang, and I get it, but I just never got into that. I wasn't a DDP fan like that. I wasn't. I'm not gonna lie. We both asked the question.
Yeah.
Obviously, we both wasn't big DDP fans back then.
Okay.
So
All right. Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, great guy. You know.
right,
Yeah. Never understood it. Never understood why the crowd went crazy.
right,
Hey man, I'm gonna go with a tag team,
okay,
and these guys might be the epitome of jumping ship,
okay.
and that's the Road Warriors.
Hey, yeah. Oh my God, yeah,
Everywhere they went, they were the tag champs. They won the titles. AWA, the Mid Atlantic when they did all that. The Georgia Championship Wrestling. When they were just getting started and everything, they were coming out there dressed like the bikers. Like the
yeah,
village people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. That was the very beginning, right?
Right.
Yeah,
And then they switched it up to the leather spikes. Then they went to the shoulder pad spikes. They were successful everywhere they went, but to me, they're always going to be the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors.
right.
I felt like when they were the LOD, they were watered down. When they
Oh,
went to,
well,
when they went to
yeah,
WWE, I felt
yeah.
like
Which
they were successful. They made money wherever they went. They drew money wherever
right,
they went. But I feel like
right.
they were watered down and more cartoonish in
Yeah,
WWE.
which everybody was in
Right?
that era. Yeah, but you're right though. They definitely wasn't the same
Yeah.
when they was working when they was the Legion of Doom working for WWE or
Dude,
WWF or whatever.
when they come out to the what's the Black Sabbath song? Iron Man.
Yeah,
When they come out to Iron Man, it's gonna be dangerous. You're fearful for whoever's in the ring.
Right.
Because they got an all black on, they got them black shoulder pads on, they got the face paint on, larger than life. You know, them poor jobbers back then.
They were killing them.
Right. But when you hear, oh, what a rush. And then they come out there and they got all the stuff is red. You know what I mean? They got Chucky one day and
Rocco.
right, Rocco. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I'm fearful of the Road Warriors. I'm not fearful of the LOD because and you can beat them up because they had a wrestling buddy. You can beat the hell out of the LOD at your house. You know what I'm saying?
They still were dangerous in WWE. I mean, I agree with you. They were watered down, but they still was dangerous when they, but it's funny because even when they came out to Iron Man, the Black Sabbath song, you hear they talk about that Road Warrior pop.
Yeah. And
even when they was in WWF, that the rush, the crowd went crazy.
Oh, bro, they going crazy. Absolutely.
They definitely. And then you hear the stories how Animal really was the tame one.
Yeah.
And Hulk was a loose cannon, in and out of the ring. So
yeah.
You hear a lot of stories about that, documentaries or shoot interviews or whatever people talk about. How Paul Ellering even talked about it, and he was like a real manager. He wasn't just a manager on TV. Like he really was booking their flights and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So, so that was, I'm sure that didn't happen too often.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead with one, dog.
Well, this one is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I'm gonna go with Chris Jericho. And the thing about Jericho was so intriguing, though, is his stint in WCW. Of course, he was pretty much a cruiserweight, and now the cruiserweights was a big deal then. They had Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko, and then of course they had the luchadors like Psychosis and Juventud Guerrero. I mean, they put on great matches, but Jericho never really got an opportunity to be like a mega star in WCW. They wouldn't even when he had the whole thing with Goldberg that was going on. Goldberg kind of chumped them off. They didn't even let him even have that feud properly. Right. But the man was so hilarious. The stuff with Ralphus or the 1004 Hoes, and,
the Saskatchewan Flipsy Doodle over the top rib breaker.
And then he went back to they went to commercial break and everything. He came back. He still was on the list. That was hilarious.
Yeah, the stuff, like you say, the stuff he did with Ralph is, man, when he would try to pin you and put his foot on your stomach and flex, come on, baby. Bro, he was hilarious, dog. The junior stuff.
But that's what made it so intriguing, because when he went to WWE, he had one of the greatest debuts ever till this day.
If you haven't seen that, if you're a new wrestling fan, look it up. Chris Jericho WWE debut. Bro. Unbelievable. I don't want to cut you out. Well, yeah, I do. And I enjoy it. But you got to remember at the time, this is like, he was one of the first ones to defect.
Right.
And because you were so used to seeing guys coming to WCW, he was one of the first to leave.
Right.
In the Monday Night Wars in that era.
Right.
Okay, they didn't. If you listen to his podcast, and shout out to Talk is Jericho, he's talked about this before and the ideas that they had, and it was just going to be. They had so much they could do with it. You know what I mean? With the stuff with Goldberg.
Right.
But Goldberg chunked him off like he was just too good to be in the ring with Chris Jericho.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Goes to WWE, debuts with The Rock. Bro, and that they had to count down for months.
Right.
When that music hit and that lady goes up in the air and then them words come together, they turn around and come together and say Jericho. Them folks went crazy.
Yes, sir.
And then
It did.
him being the genius that he is, took it all in and did his normal smart ass, dumb ass stuff that was so funny. And he played it perfect.
Yes, he
And
did.
he had ups and downs at the
Yes, he
beginning.
did. Yes, he did.
But
But end up becoming the first undisputed champion. Beat The
Right.
Rock and Stone Cold in one night.
right,
Nobody thought of the four people. 'Cause Kurt Angle was the fourth person in that little 4-man tournament they had. Jericho was the one that you knew wasn't going to win.
right,
You know what I mean? And he won. You know, so. But the stuff with Stephanie McMahon, dude was just, and then he always reinvented himself. You know,
to this day,
yes,
till this day. But you before and we can talk a bit about that in a second. But to stick with the WWE part, it got to the point where he's become one of the greatest.
right,
It got to the point where he would work a run, take some time off, do Fozzy, do this, do that, come back, new gimmick, you know, new haircut, this and this.
Right.
Always reinventing himself.
right,
I like what you said when we talked about him, because we talked about it before about him going to New Japan, because he said at first, you know, it's always go back to WWE.
right,
Then get a chance to go to New Japan. We'll tell Vince, you know, hey, I'll never work in the United States for anybody else. Goes to New Japan, doesn't just go with Omega, becomes the pain maker.
right,
Yeah, man, it was crazy. Then the next thing you know, he shows up at All In. Signs with AEW. First AEW champion. But the list goes
El
on.
Champion.
Right. The list, and he's doing it to this day. So when you talk about becoming successful after leaving a certain place, like he's almost got an argument to be the poster child. You know. But that also says a lot about Vince, man. He can do stuff that other guys can't. And always had a team around him to come up with something. You know, and of course it's always on the talent to make it work. You know what I mean? But that's the good one, man. Love Chris Jericho. He's probably listening. Hey man, shout out to Chris Jericho. Shout out to Talk is Jericho. But yeah, man. I'll jump into one. And that's why I love Welcome to Wrasslin. We ain't got no list or nothing. We just going off the hip. We're just shooting off the hip, man. That's all hell, man. I'm gonna go with Lex Luger.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Lex Luger's another one of those guys that was super popular,
right.
but you know, super popular with the ladies. He had a lot of, it was, you know, guys liked him or whatnot. I think his heyday was when he was with Harley Race. I think that was his best stuff. Against Ron Simmons, you know, end up losing the title, but that was I think that was the biggest time in his career right there. Always tagging with Sting. But in the 90s, he did go to WWE. And they tried to make him the next Hulk Hogan.
Right.
And that did not work. You know, he did the stuff with body slamming the Yokozuna.
With the whole Lex Express, which actually that did work, but it fell off.
Right.
Yeah, he and you hear a lot behind the scenes though. A lot of that was him because like
he didn't like doing this.
Yeah,
like
Then a lot of also you hear like Bruce Pritchard, all the people talk about it. They were saying that he was telling people like they're gonna put the title on me and all this other stuff, and they just kind of decided to go a different direction, because when he had that SummerSlam match with Yokozuna, back when he had the whole Lex Express thing, they didn't pull the trigger like. That match was like a disqualification or something, you know what I mean? Like he didn't lose, but he didn't win by pinfall. It was like a count out, or I can't remember exactly how that match ended, but he didn't win the title.
Right. Didn't win the title, lets his contract run out, and then shows up on the very first Nitro.
Yeah, that was something. Yeah,
and of course everybody knew the history with him and Sting, but
right.
I just never. Lex Luger was charismatic to a medium degree. I would say.
Yeah.
All you did with the flexing and all that stuff. He really couldn't be cool. He tried to be cool in the red and black. It did not work out for him. And we're gonna get in the red and black in a little bit because we're gonna cover some of those guys, but it just trying to be cool and hip hop and everything did not work out for Lex Luger.
Yeah.
He needed to be the narcissist and the main event and all that stuff. Main Event Fitness. Remember he had the Main Event Fitness logo on the draws? Yeah. But yeah, he was successful to a certain degree in WWE, but for a minute. Like I say, it died down. But I think a lot of that was on him too.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I know. Yeah.
Well, my next one's one of my favorites. People who've been listening to us for a while know that we're huge fans of the Steiner brothers as a tag team. So this next one I'm gonna say Scott Steiner, and it's also like the DDP, where even though they did jump ship as a tag team earlier on in their career, they were successful, world tag team champions, and end up going back to WCW. But this right here was a singles run. But it was the same way like the DDP, where
he sat out, collected his money.
He sat out. Yeah, he collected his money, and then he ended up going over to WWE. But it didn't work out for him.
No.
And he was a shell of himself as far as physically, because he had we call it drop foot or whatever he had going on.
It was like paralyzed.
Yeah, so he had a feud with Triple H, and but their matches that they had they just didn't really have the chemistry. Which of course, again, a lot of that because Scott couldn't work the way he used to. And then after that feud, they just kind of made him a mid-carder, and he didn't even work at the WrestleMania that year. That's how bad he fell off. Really sad, because it's like he really reinvented himself so much when he had the whole superstar Billy Graham look and the NWO, and that was when he really came into his own. With his promos and with my freak and wearing the headpiece and
Yeah.
all of
Bro,
that.
when he used to do the when he would clothesline him and then shake that bicep and then flex the
Yeah,
bicep, then drop the elbow and then do the push up.
yeah,
Bro, that
yeah.
was nothing cockier than that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I love Scott Steiner, man. I thought the main event Mafia Scott Steiner is my favorite. TNA Scott Steiner is my favorite.
With his math arithmetic, what I mean?
Right.
33 and a third percent chance. you know what I mean?
Bro, that one time when Mick Foley was there and Mick Foley was like the GM or whatever.
Yeah.
And when Foley's walking down the hallway and you got Scott Steiner and they're getting main event Mafia gear made and there is no more main event Mafia. Like he's yelling at the lady, main event Mafia, put it right here, and throwing his hands up in the air. He gonna tell Mick, what are you talking about? Then he gets out there, goes back at the lady, starts yelling at her again. Main event Mafia, let's make it up. But man, but he was, they wrestled the Dudleys. They got to do that match. They got to mix it up, Motor City Machine Guns. He did some stuff with Little Petey Pump. And that Joker guy, he got some Scott Steiner stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the WWE run wasn't, and I don't think Scott Steiner's made for WWE anyway. Not back then. There's too many people telling him what to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he cussed on his debut when he went out there. That his debut was tight now, but that was about it. Debut was hard. Came out there, yelled, "Give me a fucking mic." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, that's a good one. But Main Event Mafia, that's my favorite Scott Steiner. Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. I'm going to pull one out the hat that's a little different.
Okay.
And it took him a couple of times to jump ship to become successful. Now, I want to talk about the franchise. Shane Douglas.
Okay.
Started off at WCW with John Laurinaitis, Johnny Ace, the dynamic dudes come out there on them skateboards. They didn't ever ride them; they always carried them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then he started. Who did he? He was tagging with Ricky Steamboat, right?
Yeah, they became tag champions.
Tag team champs, yeah. And then, of course, he did the ECW thing, and then goes to jump ship to WWF to be Dean Douglas.
Right.
And so he was Intercontinental Champion because Shawn Michaels had to give up the title. But he was like a school teacher, which he really is. You know what I'm saying? Has a degree to be a teacher, and I think he's taught school before.
Right.
But it's something about ECW, man, that has helped people find who they really are. And he ain't Dean Douglas. He's not the skateboarder, dynamic dude. He's the franchise, Shane Douglas. The stuff he did at ECW, bro, he became one of the greatest heels of all time.
Right.
And ran that company. You know what I'm saying? But the stuff with
Right.
Taz, the triple threat, man, bro, you can't say enough about Shane Douglas when it comes to ECW.
When I think of like ECW champion,
Yeah,
he's the first person that comes to mind. Hell, he was one that started. Remember, he won the NWA title
right.
and then
Threw it down.
Yeah.
And they can all kiss my ass.
Right.
And it was the ECW. because it was at
Right.
first it was like a Eastern Championship
Yeah,
Wrestling,
Eastern Championship Wrestling. Right.
and it
Yeah.
was a part of the NWA.
Right.
And then they turned it to Ty Gordon and them, and then your boy Paul Lee, and they turned it into ECW. I think Ty Gordon had it first, or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Don't get me the line on here.
No, you
But even
think you're pretty accurate on that.
And the thing about it is, though, even WCW was falling apart when he came back. And it was they did some
The
of the
revolution.
Stuff, right? He's never as over anywhere as he was at ECW.
Right.
And being involved in TNA don't matter. ECW is where he has his heyday.
I agree.
So you jump ship a couple of places to be successful, and then jump ship again. And of course, there was no more ECW. It wasn't nowhere for him to go.
Right. Right.
So you had to go somewhere.
Right.
So. But yeah, huge Shane Douglas fan when it comes to ECW.
I can dig it.
Can you now?
Well, this next one is talking about somebody jumping ship. Man, he did it several times. Sid Vicious.
Ooh.
And I tell you what, we hear the stories about softball Sid, because his runs was never long. It was like he'll work 6 months and then, he'll go play in some softball tournament, according to them, and then he end up with the other company, Won
Right.
world titles in both WCW and WWF. Always was a monster. The crowd loved him, whether he was a heel or a face. Had probably one of the best looks ever, as far as he was tall but super muscular. Talk about somebody look dangerous.
Right.
Like if you see him out in public at Walmart or something, you'd be like, who in the fuck is that? You know what I mean?
When they used to have them black vests and chaps on in the skyscrapers.
Man.
And they had Teddy Long with them, so you know how short Teddy Long is. It makes them look even taller.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, they were so dangerous. And people forget he was a horseman. Seal was a horseman.
Yeah, he was.
That's when he was wearing that singlet.
Yeah.
But he's been Sid, Psycho Sid, Sid Justice, Sid Vicious. You want to talk about ECW again? The stuff that he did them few times at ECW? But he powerbombed the shit out of everybody that was around. Bro, and had the crowd in the palm of his hand.
Right.
Bro, I told you before, Sid Vicious created the fist, but he invented the fist bump.
Right.
And even as a heel, he would come out, because you got to give it to him. He was the ruler of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I believe that shit. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. And a hell of a softball player. Batting 790.
Well, a Hall of Famer.
Well, we'll be at Hobgood Park this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, got 2 tournaments up there. I'm a wrestler Saturday night.
That brother might skip SummerSlam, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I had 4 games to play that Sunday.
Vince called, where you at, pal? Oh, we had a tournament,
Just remember, he has half the brain that you do.
He said it himself.
Hey, man. And we might have, and since it's my goal, and I'm going to use both of these guys, and we'll do Kevin Nash and Scott Hall.
Great transition.
I got to talk about that promo when he said that. And Scott Hall caught on to it first and just started laughing. And you can tell he's telling Kevin, like, did you hear what he just said? And then they
Yeah.
both, you know, when somebody's really laughing, when their upper body gets to shaking and you can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? You know, he felt like an asshole when he said that.
Yeah.
God bless the dead, man. We're not talking about it.
You are half the man I am, and
Right.
I
And I have
have the
half the
brain.
brain that you.
Yeah. He was like, "What? He didn't just say that."
Right. Let's talk about jumping ship though.
Right.
And you had two mid Carters at best with the diamond
At
stud,
best.
and Oz, the Master Blasters.
Vinny Vegas.
Hey, I like Vinny Vegas though.
Yeah, I did too.
I like Vinny. What's up? What's up? What's up? But you didn't have, you know, Scott Hall, you know, he did some things in the AWA, tagging with Kurt Hennig. Never
Right.
was world champion.
Nah,
Had that, looked like Magnum TA a little bit, had that mustache. Scott Hall didn't have a mustache. He had a mustache when he was in
Yeah.
the AWA. He had a
Oh, dude.
mustache. But when he came to WCW and became the Diamond Stud and slicked his hair back and got the George Michael 5 o'clock shadow, you know, the stubbles all the way around
Right.
on the beard.
Right.
I can say mid Carter at best. And when he leaves, you know, he doesn't even make a debut. He has vignettes for him
Right.
as Razor Ramon.
Right.
And talk about, you know, night and day from his early WCW days
Right.
to what he did in WWE. And then become Intercontinental Champion, WrestleMania 10 with the ladder match. And then he jumped ship again to WCW and damn near runs, I mean, almost had just a bigger, you know, had U.S. title, TV title, tag team titles, NWO. You know, he was always, if he's not in the main event, if it's a tag thing or a group thing, you know, they're close to that right there. So he wasn't stuck at mid card.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm rambling right now, but I'm trying to get it across that I think the Scott Hall character was more popular than Razor Ramon. And Razor Ramon is way more popular than the Diamond Stud. You know, and that's just my opinion because of the way, you know, he just had the crowd in the palm of his hand every time he touched the mic when he was in WCW.
Hey, yo.
Saturday, you know, and just the cool shit that they used to do. You know what I mean? The bandanas and shit, and the For Life, NWO, all that stuff. I think he was a bigger star at Scott Hall than he was Razor Ramon. I could be wrong.
I mean, that's debatable, but I agree with you to a certain extent though, because NWO was so NWO, like that whole thing right there was just amazing. Like just how all that played out. You know, you got Hollywood Hogan and of course Kevin Nash, but you know, it wouldn't have worked if it wasn't for the popularity of Razor and Diesel in WWF. That's what made it work. But to your point though, since NWO was so popular and really that was the A of the Attitude Era, that made WWE step their game up.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
there's
of
no
the
DX if there's no NWO.
right. So I agree with you too, because of that reason alone.
Yeah.
He definitely was probably more, you know, more over. Because like you said, when he got that mic and was like, "Hey yo,"
Right.
that was
And
everybody
crowd
waiting
went
for him
crazy.
to say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You remember the
yeah.
pop
But
he got when they went to the WWE, the cancer's coming, you know, and they
Right.
had that little short run or whatever, you know. So that was an successful jump ship, even though that was some years later.
Right, and he got the WrestleMania match with Stone Cold, you know, and all of that. But we also need to remember that Scott Hall is responsible for the Crow Sting.
Hmm.
He was the one that allegedly was the one that told Sting, you know, gave him the idea of,
Yeah.
you know, to change
Well, yeah,
your
Reed
look,
said
your
that.
gimmick,
Yeah.
you know. So, and then, you know, you got to think like those guys, you know, they said that they're responsible for the guarantee contracts. I don't know how true that is, but you know that it really helped far as
The business
financially.
helped the boys.
Yeah, yeah, help the boys because it made Vince change how he was paying his wrestlers. You know, I
Right.
know it still took him a while, but it was kind of like, you
We got to
know,
give you
he had it.
opportunity, pal.
Yeah, yeah. So they definitely was pioneers in many more ways, and we ain't just talking about just, you know, wrestling in the wrestling ring,
Yeah.
you know. But and they also talk about how he had such a mind for the business.
Right.
You know, Scott Hall very underrated when it comes to all of that. Well, I don't want to call it underrated because you hear people say that about him, but
Yeah.
I just
And
think his
the
demons
only
and his
reason
drinking and
only reason they say underrated is because he never had the world title. That's why he's underrated.
right, right,
He did
right,
everything else and then some,
right,
you know. So,
right.
and you know, the career kept on a little bit. They did some stuff in Japan, TNA, you know. Kevin Nash, a little bit different story as far as stardom, and you're not going to say he's underrated because he was the champion WWF, WCW. Um, I was a fan of Kevin Nash. I didn't like some of the stuff he said because he always looked like he was always trying to talk like he was so educated but cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I always want to say stuff that like goes over your head. You have to really think about it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And they were cool. You know what I mean? They were coolish. The thing about Kevin Nash that used to bug me, man, is they came out there with the sunglasses and FUBU on, but they got their shirts tucked in, no belt. Then your boy now Kevin Nash, he gonna have them Jordans on, but yeah, he gonna have them jeans on that don't even cover the tongue. You gotta have a little cuff. You can't have them jeans that are right around the ankle. You can't even get them over your work boots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
You
I
can
feel
see
you
the
on
whole
that.
damn shoe, every part of it.
That's like he just look like somebody uncle trying to be cool. You know what I mean?
Right,
You know,
right. But he was big,
but
sexy. He was cool to a certain degree.
but you know, but then you got to think even like with the NWO, like the For Life and all that, that came from Mac 10 and the West Side Connection and a lot of West Coast rap and all
Yeah,
of that. You know, so
and that
you
was
know, but
early. That was in '96 when Pac is dead.
yeah,
And, you know,
yeah,
but All Eyes on Me and all that stuff, it just came out. I mean,
right,
Machiavelli, All Eyes on Me, that stuff, All Eyes on Me ain't been that long before he
right.
got killed. You know what I mean? So,
Right, right.
yeah,
I mean,
all
he
that.
got killed in September of '96. You know what I mean? So
Right,
that was like
right.
they got together summer of '96, like when it
Yeah,
originally NWO. Yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, man. So that, you know, and of course they were wearing the bandanas and stuff, and but yeah, they were cool, but they definitely continued success and got better and bigger every time they jumped. You
right.
know, and so you definitely have to mark them down for successful. Even Kevin Nash had a good run in TNA. You know, and of course he
Yeah,
talks about how much money he made and stuff, but that again, main event mafia. You know, that was a
Yeah.
mean crew, dog. That was a mean crew.
Hell
Especially
yeah.
when they first started. And they should have went a little bit longer with that before turning Sting back face so fast. You know, you had heel Sting with no makeup on, just the sunglasses with the suit on. Bro, you had Scott Steiner with a suit on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And Booker T was unhinged. You,
Oh
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
That's some of
You
his best
know.
work over there at TNA. You know. And we talked you can talk, and matter of fact, go ahead. I'll let you jump into one, man. Because we're gonna get all talking about main event mafia. That's a whole episode.
Well, let's talk Booker T.
All right.
uh, I mean, there's a lot of layers to Booker T.
Yeah.
Obviously, of course, the tag team with his brother Stevie Ray, Harlem Heat. I had to say is one of the greatest tag teams, especially of their era. You know, then Booker finally got a chance to do a solo thing of TV champion and ended up becoming a world champion. And of course, he when WCW closed, got bought out. He was their final champion.
Yeah.
So then when they did when they did purchase WCW, Booker T showed up immediately.
It means when they did it, he was the first one to show up in the invasion
Yeah,
thing.
right,
Real
right.
super kick.
And,
And put remember he put Stone Cold through the table, and the table didn't break, and he slid right off and kind of got hurt a little bit.
right,
Remember that?
right,
And then they had a little issue with Booker already.
right,
Yeah.
right. But you know, but you want to talk about success?
Yeah.
He had a rocky road. You know, a lot of people talk about his feud with Triple H, and a lot of people was upset that they had this feud, and Triple H was like, people like you are don't become champion and all this other stuff, and then Booker ended up losing that match at WrestleMania 19. So a lot of people was upset about that, but Booker landed on his feet, king of the ring, had one of the, if not the best, one of the best king gimmicks
Yeah.
in wrestling history. I put him right up there with the Macho King.
Yeah.
And I don't count Jerry the King Lawler because that's his gimmick. But
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
far as somebody winning King of the Ring and running with this whole King thing, like really running with that gimmick, I think Booker T and the Macho King to me is my two favorites. He the way he was talking, with his accent and Queen Charmel, and he really like somebody reinventing himself.
Yeah.
And he really just he did the damn thing, man. And then just like you talked about earlier with Main Event Mafia, was he the Legends champion and all this other stuff? I think Booker T arguably he has an argument of being definitely the most successful African American wrestler in the business, and that's saying a lot. Of course, Ron Simmons is always going to be the first Black World Champion,
Right.
but when you look at like the careers of Black wrestlers, it's hard to put somebody above Booker T.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, he deserves that. And then to still be involved to this day, doing coaching and stuff, got his own school, his own little promotion, reality
Right.
of wrestling out there in Houston. So, yeah, man, shout out to Booker T, man. Let's do one more piece and then we'll shut it down and get up out of here. And then this is one we ain't gonna be able to stop. It's too many names that we ain't got the flair, we ain't got the hardly anybody, so we got so many we go with. I'm gonna go with a controversial one of jumping ship and jump ship to the point where one place would never hire him again, and that's Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, the USWA, and came to WWF is supposed to be a country music star, greatest country and western singer ever. JEFFJARRETT. Came out to be a fraud. Then he showed up at WCW trying to be one of the horsemen. Then goes back to WWE, jumps ship again, and cuts his hair. Starts getting doing the slap nuts thing, and he's got
Right.
Deborah McMichael with him up there.
Right.
And got to a point where he held Vince up for money when he was the IC champion. Did some
Right.
stuff with Owen Hart before Owen Hart passed.
Right.
Matter of fact, they were, they were doing stuff before that, and then they got real close or whatever. I remember him, doing the little promo or whatever they had right after he had passed.
Yeah, he was very emotional.
Yeah, but giving up the title to China, coming back to WCW, held Vince up for money. That's, I've heard him talk about it and stuff like that, but it's just crazy, man, that you are a third generation promoter and you would do that to another promoter. It sounds crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you did that to your grandmother was promoting, somebody did that to her, you would have been trying to kill him. And talk about how he wasn't loyal to the business and this, and that's not how things work, all that stuff.
I mean, that was our problem with the screw job.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, you sit there and wonder. And we ain't gonna sit here and talk about a screw job, man, because that's you'll be talking about that all night. Everybody's talked about it 18 billion times. But exactly, it's like you talk about you're the second generation promoter, third generation promoter, second generation wrestler who dad was promoter, but you think you're the only one that can do some of the things that you do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it goes against everything you've been taught, everything you've been told, but you think it's okay.
Right.
For you to do it, but nobody else can do it. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
But anyhow, yeah, Jeff Jarrett, and that got, of course, when WCW got bought out, even Vince said it on TV about not hiring Jeff Jarrett. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So, but if we didn't have that, we don't have TNA.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it kind of worked out. And he didn't really jump ship to TNA. He built his own ship.
Right. Right.
And say what you will, you've seen the dark side of the ring and stuff and all that, but they're still going to this day. And he's the one that built it. And shout out to Jeff Jarrett, man, because you got to think about it. The more he moved, the more successful he became. And his final jump to WCW, he held the world title. You know what I'm saying? Slap nuts and hitting everybody with the guitar and all that stuff. And, so very successful. Jumped ship a lot, burnt a lot of bridges, and had to build his own.
He probably jumped ship more than Sid.
Yeah, for real. He might be in the running. Top jumper.
Yeah.
Go ahead and end it off with one, dog.
Big Van Vader. Now, this one to me it hit close to my heart. It's really sad because the man was so well. First of all, he started out at AWA. Of course, he wasn't the Vader gimmick yet.
Right.
Yeah, but of course, he was a football player for the Los Angeles Rams in the early '80s.
Yeah,
played in Colorado. Yeah, so ended up becoming a wrestler. He got his break when he went to Japan.
Right.
And got the gimmick, the big band. Tony Inoki He got the gimmick from him, the Big Van Vader gimmick. It became a monster heel over there. Then brought that over to WCW. Became a
World
monster heel. Had a great feud with Sting, and became world champion. Was rough though, great matches with Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, and was just a monster heel in
Right.
WCW.
And
But
that is who Ron Simmons beat to become the first black heavyweight champion of the world.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, Harley
Enjoy.
Race was his manager. But when he came to WWF, yeah, it was past his prime, but it's also they kind of watered him down,
As they do
and
everybody. Yeah.
as they do everybody,
Because they got to make
and
him so marketable.
right,
His
and
music even made him look not so tough.
right, right, and but then you hear all the stories, and like you hear about them going, they was overseas, and they was in Kuwait or one of them countries in the Middle East, and they was doing media, him and the Undertaker, and the guy was interviewing them, was basically saying this stuff fake, right? And then he
Right.
he did like David Schultz, snapped on Buddy. I
That's
was
an
like
open
this,
hand slap right there.
right, right. But
That feel
he
fake.
like, but he kind of did something like that, and
Yeah, he
but got
was
into a
black.
lot of trouble. Got into a
Yeah.
lot of trouble though, and almost didn't get to come back to the states. And I
Right.
think that was like the beginning of the end for him in
Yeah.
WWF. And then you hear about the match he had with HBK,
Yeah.
or one of the matches, and it didn't go so well because he was supposed to. I don't know if he was supposed to win the title, but he was supposed to be in that feud for a while. And HBK, after that match, HBK told Vince that he ain't ready. Like we can't do nothing with him. And that's
Right.
how Sid ended up winning the title,
Yeah.
because they put Sid in a feud with HBK instead of Vader. But it was because of that match. And HBK, of course, had a lot of stroke. Told Vince that he's not the one. And it's just sad when you think about it, because Vader was such a monster heel, and so athletic for his to be a big man.
Saw when he
And,
used to do that thing on the when he used to do the jump on the turnbuckle and push himself out and land on his opponent.
right,
Yeah.
right. He was
But
so.
don't forget them clubs that he
Oh,
used to hand to everybody.
because I used to do them clubs for folks. That was my thing in high school. I called them the Vader blows.
Yeah.
Hey, say something about the POT, you gonna get the Vader blows. Huh, huh, huh. But it was just really sad, man. You just his
Do you,
WWF run, and then you,
do you
you also you hear about the thing with Paul Orndorff, WCW. How they said Orndorff beat him up, and you hear several different stories about that. You know, it's just a lot, man.
yeah.
It just didn't end too well for him.
Do you remember that the one time he had lost a match and he was coming out and the camera was on him on WWE and it was at the end. I'm just a big fat piece of shit.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was like, wow, like, where did that come from? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So yeah, that was near the end. And but WCW, he was a legend. In Japan, he was a legend. When you get to the big time, and that's what everybody considers the big time, it just didn't pan out. So that's one of them saying, like we said, successful and unsuccessful. He was very
yeah,
unsuccessful.
absolutely.
Yeah, so hey man, this is a topic that's gonna keep going for a while, man, because we got so many more we can talk about. But and we'll be here for hours. You know what I'm saying? A couple quick things, man. Listen, thank you everybody always listening. Thank you to the Talking Shop Network. Don't forget, ProWrestlingTees.com/welcome to wrestling. Pick you up a shirt. Got 3 designs. Pick you out one. Pick all 3. Buy one. Christmas is coming soon. Buy them all.
My shirt.
Don't forget, Charleston, South Carolina, September the 11th and the 12th. September the 11th, we're having a Talking Shop live. Good brothers, Carl Anderson, Big LG, Doc Gallows are doing a live Talking Shop, man. It's going to be great. And they're having the MLW show the very next night. Talking Shop Monday, you got the Bump and Feed with Emerson, Cabana Boy, and the young gun, the up-and-comer, CJ Gallows. Tuesday, you got yours truly, Welcome to Wrasslin. Wednesday is the big day when you have the official Talking Shop podcast with the good brothers, the world-famous good brothers, Doc Gallows and Luke and Carl Anderson. Thursday, you got In the Front Row. Friday, you got the recap of Talking Shop with Ren and DJ Dominguez. Hey, man. It's Welcome to Wrasslin. Anything else you got to say before we get up out of here?
Like, comment, subscribe, people. Like, comment, subscribe to those who've been following us and listening every week. We love you. We love you. We love you. Keep listening. We're going to keep coming, banging them out, man. And again, shout out to the Talking Shop Network for picking us up. You know, hey, we looking for bigger and better things. So we just grateful and really happy to be here, man. So
absolutely. Yep. And remember, we're still going to be on our YouTube page, but we'll also be on all podcast platforms under Talking Shop. And if you want to know anything about Talking Shop, check out talkingshoppod.com. TalkNShoppod.com. And that'll give all the events coming up, all the news. And guys, join the Patreon. Join the Talking Shop Patreon. You won't believe the kind of people that we got in there. Everybody's so cool to everybody. You got some good people in there, good talented people. That's where a lot of these podcasts have come from, is from the Falcon's Nest, the Patreon, with everybody talking wrestling, being fans of the good brothers, and next thing you know, they're doing a podcast. So, man, join, get in, have a good time. There's plenty of interaction. Carl is in there all the time. He's always checking in, going live sometimes. Sometimes he does a machine gun radio in the morning. Sometimes he'll jump in the chat, you know. So, yeah, man, check out the Patreon. But at the end of the day, it's Welcome to Wrasslin.
welcome to Wrasslin.
Welcome to Wrasslin, man. Hell yeah, man. Welcome to Wrasslin.
Welcome to Wrasslin, Chetty Bobby. Welcome to Wrasslin with Big E and the POT. Podcast tag champs of the whole world, slamming like a DDT. Got it like just like a figure four. Hulk Hogan, all they do is flex. Talking wrestling while they get the dough. Off the top like a superplex. Think they letting up? Hell no. Dusty Rose with the elbow. From the corner like a stinging splash straight to the face. I know you felt those. Hey, y'all crying out for help though. Rising up like the dead man. About to go upside your head like Stone Cold with the bedpan. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestlers where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestlers where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me.